see David Crockett in the silver hole. Perfect.
How's the fishing been this morning?
The fishing has been hot. I was acting like an auctioneer. We got 2, we got 3 now, we got 3, we got 4, let's get 5. Boom, I got 5. It was pretty fun, okay?
Hello, everybody. The Salmon Trout Steelheader podcast is going to go a little bit off the rails, but I think you guys are going to enjoy it. I'm here at the Becharof Fishing Lodge on the Egegik River in Alaska with one of the co-owners, George. What is your last name? George Joy. So, George, if you don't mind kind of introducing yourself as far as your bear hunting and moose hunting career.
Okay, well, I've been coming up to Alaska for about 34 years, commercial fishing, and I've been a bear guide for about 12 years and a moose guide for about 12 years, and I've had a lot of different experiences moose hunting and bear hunting.
And I was just listening to one of his stories, and I had to grab the computer to record this because some mind-blowing stuff about these grizzly bears in Alaska, and then of course the moose in it. What
coastal
else?
brown bears is what they are.
Oh, coastal brown bears.
That means they live within 50 miles of the coast.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
And so the peninsula is only 100 miles wide here, so we can't have any grizzly bears. They all have to be coastal brown bears because bears go according to where they live at.
Oh, okay.
Same as Roosevelt elk are divided by Interstate 5.
Oh, okay. So is there an actual difference, or are they just...
No.
Okay.
Same. It has to do with their food, what they eat.
Oh, okay. Interesting. I did actually just have him tell the whole story and then grab the computer, but if you don't mind, I'd like to hear again about this bear hunt that you did.
Okay.
And
I'd be more than happy to tell you about it.
Good.
So I started out with a gentleman. This is his third time coming to Alaska to get a bear. He's invested about $100,000. This is his first time hunting with me. We're very remote. We're 20-some miles down the coast from this town. We're inland about 2 miles, and we have a camp set up. And we've been seeing some smaller bears, and he's really not interested in a smaller bear. Mm-hmm. And this is day number 8 of a 10-day hunt. Mm-hmm. And so we're getting to the point of maybe shooting a little bit smaller one, possibly, mm-hmm. but maybe not, because he wants a big bear.
Yeah.
So we've been watching the smaller bear come into camp, or come into a carcass that was out, and we've decided that we're going to go set up on it, and maybe there's going to be another bear come in on it. And so we go out and we set up on it, and we're there most of the day, and we have an assistant also back at camp, and he's keeping eyes on what's going on around us, and he has signaled us and told us that there is a big bear that is about a long ways away from our camp. Mm-hmm. And so we decided that we're going to maybe go back to camp and maybe go on this bear, mm-hmm. maybe not. So,
and you had seen a bear at the first spot, correct?
Yes.
But he hadn't shot on it.
Right.
Yeah. So he's still, even though it's day 8, he's thinking he wants something bigger still.
He still wants something bigger.
Yeah.
So we head back towards camp, and the assistant that's up at the camp runs down and brings us some food and tells us about the bear that he saw. And I asked my hunter, I said, "Do you want to go on this bear?" And he says, "Is it a better chance to go on this bear, or is it a better chance to get one going back to camp?" And I said, "It's a better chance going on this bear." Mm-hmm. So we take off. It's late afternoon. And I don't think we're going to get to the bear before dark, but we're going anyway. Mm-hmm. And we're out in the tundra. It's a real...
On foot.
Yep. It's real marshy. There's a lot of swampy stuff. It's a very flat field kind of an area. So we head out on this bear, and we can't see it at all. And we're going out there, and all of a sudden, about half an hour later, I finally see it. It's a long ways away. And at that time, I know that they can see well. So I have the other 2 guys that are following me, the hunter and my assistant. We all 3 put our guns in the air on our shoulders so it looks like we have antlers. Mm-hmm. And so I said, we're just going to walk right towards the bear. So we're walking right towards the bear, and it's many, many miles away. And I am sure that it saw us because it went around the hill where we couldn't see it anymore. Mm. It's going to set up a sabotage on us. It knows we're coming that direction. It's going to hide on this ridge, and and we're going to be coming towards this ridge. So
you're baiting the bear in with yourself.
right.
Wow.
So shortly we get to the ridge, and we have about 20 minutes before dark. And I don't know which direction the bear is. It should be off to the left-hand side, but I get up on this little ridge and we look to the right real heavily, and then boom, we're heading left. So we're heading left down the ridge, and all of a sudden there's the bear. It's bedded down at about 80 yards or so. And we look at it, and you can tell it's the big bear. And so I kind of look to my hunter and kind of give him the nod that he can go ahead and take the bear if he wants. Mm-hmm. And me and my assistant kind of step to the side to let him kind of do his thing. Well, he sets up his shooting sticks, and range finds it, and I'm ready to shoot if I need to shoot, and my assistant's ready to shoot. And the hunter gets all ready, and all of a sudden he jumps up and comes over to us. And I'm like, what's wrong? And he's like, my shooting sticks are just jumping all over the place. And I said, let me help. And he's like, no, I'm doing it on my own. And so he goes towards the bear closer. Now he's at 65, 70 yards away. Me and my assistant move up also along with him. The bear is bedded down, looking straight at us. He pulls up on it again with his shooting sticks, and same thing happens again. And I had told my assistant, I said, if I tell you to kill this bear, you have to kill it. And so the hunter jumps up again. His shooting sticks are jumping all over, and he gets closer to the bear. Now we're around 55 yards or so. I think the bear can be at us in about 3 seconds or so. I tell my assistant again, get ready. If I need to kill this bear, you got to kill it. And I also have my .416 Ruger ready to go. So all of a sudden, the hunter is getting ready to shoot. He's got a double barrel, very expensive $20,000 gun. He's getting ready to shoot. He's got his shooting sticks. He shoots and does not hit the bear. And the bear stands up and looks at us and then turns to the side, and the hunter shoots again and shoots it in the wrist. Well, we have a wounded bear now. Now it's my job to take care of the bear. Mm-hmm. So I tell my assistant, kill it. And my assistant shoots, and the hunter shoots, and there's some shooting going on. The assistant again, and the hunter, and the assistant, and the bear is running away from us, going through a swamp, splashing all kinds of water every direction. And all of a sudden he gets up on this little knoll. Well, the hunter's out of bullets. He started with 20 of them. He shot probably 3 or 4 times, and I'm sure all the other bullets were on the ground right where he was at.
Oh, yeah.
And my assistant did hit it, and he hit it once or twice really good. And the bear is moving off now. It's almost dark. The bear is at about 125 yards and moving off. And I'm just thinking, this is terrible. We're going to be hunted by this bear tonight. We have very little ammo, and we have 5.3 miles to get back home. So all of a sudden, I'm watching the bear. All of a sudden, the bear stops. It turns around and starts coming, running at us. And it stops on this knoll at about 125 yards. And it just starts snapping its jaw and it's hitting the ground. And it is pissed. It knows it's us that hurt it, and it's coming at us. And all of a sudden, it laid down and died. Oh, it was the best relief. I couldn't even believe it. So we went over and took pictures and headed back to camp. And got back to camp at 1 o'clock in the morning. Yeah.
And came back the next day with the you were telling me about you like tow it with a raft.
Yeah, I had a 4-wheeler, mm-hmm. And so then I have a raft back behind the 4-wheeler. So I had 2 guys, my assistant and another assistant. They both jump on the raft as I'm pulling it with the rope, and then I have the hunter with me on the bike.
Wow. So how heavy are these bears?
The bear probably weighs probably 800 pounds or maybe 1,000 pounds or something.
And you can pull it on a 4-wheeler?
No. We'll skin the whole thing out. I'll leave the head and I'll leave the paws in it.
Okay.
And it'll probably weigh 150 pounds. Okay. So I'm going on this bear hunt with these 2 brothers. One of them has plenty of money, and he paid for 2 hunts, one for him and one for his brother. Well, we're down the coast at 21 Mile Camp, and we see 2 bears. one large one and one small one. It could be a sow and a cub, or it could be a boar and a sow. The big one was in the back, and so it's definitely a boar and a sow. And so we decide we're going to go on these animals. And we take the four-wheeler down to the coast, and we have to cross a rather large creek when the tide's up. And when the tide's down, then the creek's not so big. But when it's up, it's giant. So we have a raft with us. So we cross across, and we go down the coast, and we circle around, and we finally get on these two bears, and they're sleeping. We end up crawling the last 200 yards to get on them, but they're sleeping. And so we're watching them, and it's probably half an hour. We're laying in the swamp, and all of a sudden they wake up. And I got my rangefinder on them. They're 260 yards or so, and they're right on the other side of the lake, and they're moving in front of us. Well, the boy that paid for the hunt for his brother, he gets to shoot the first animal, so he's going to take the boar, and it's a big boar. And I instruct him to go ahead and shoot, and he shoots, and the bear does a big old roll, and it's dead. And then the other boy wants to take the smaller female, and so he shoots and hits it once and hits it again, and all of a sudden it turns and it goes back to where they were bedded down at, and it's looking at us. And it's 260 yards. And I told him to go ahead and take it. And he shoots and hits it right in the head. Boom, it's done. Mm-hmm. Well, we get it back to camp, and we're skinning them all out. And it was hit with a 300 Win Mag in the side of the skull. Mm-hmm. It didn't even scratch the skull.
What?
Yeah. It was the other shots that actually killed it.
No
The
way.
headshot knocked it out.
Really?
300 Win Mag at 265 yards or whatever it was, yeah.
These things are bulletproof.
Yeah.
Or, I mean, what kind of... So...
You never shoot them in the head. You're never supposed to shoot it in the head.
Really?
Yeah, they have very hard heads.
That is ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't think that hard of a head. Wow.
Yeah, so then we were going to go back to camp, and so we head out, and the tide, of course, came up, and so we can't really get out, so we light a fire up. And we and wait for the tide to go down, and it's about 4 o'clock in the morning when we can actually get out of there. So we go all the way back to camp, and we're back to camp about 7 o'clock in the morning. We take a nap, and we wake up around noon, and we decide we're going to go get the bear. So the bears. So we head out on the four-wheeler, across the tundra. Takes us about 2 or 3 hours to get down there. And we get to the big boar and get him skinned out and get the sow skinned out. And by the time we got back, it was about 1 o'clock in the morning again. But got them both brothers a bear.
That's incredible. And then, there's so much work that goes into being a big game guide. It's an incredible thing. Just the afterwards. How do you have the motivation to go pack a bear out that far?
Well, we skin them all out so they don't weigh that much, but we have these small rafts. Mm-hmm. And I usually have an assistant with me, and so between the two of us, we can pull the raft. It's a little cheap blow-up raft, and they work extremely well.
That's
for
cool.
Crossing creeks and crossing the lakes, and when you're all done, you put your bear in it and drag them out.
Now, what about the, how much do they sleep, the bears?
How much do they sleep?
Yeah, like you said, those ones were bedded down.
Yeah, they just kind of sleep anytime they want. They just kind of be walking along and go to sleep and kind of wake up a few hours later or whatever.
They can be nocturnal and everything.
Yeah, and there's very many people around or there's stuff going on, then they become nocturnal.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
Yeah. So that's awesome. Now, you also do the moose up here.
Yes, I do.
And what is that like? Because moose can be aggressive as well. Is that correct?
Yeah, moose can be even more aggressive than a bear. More people get killed by moose than bear.
No way.
Yeah.
Really?
So I got a little story here for you.
Yeah.
So we're up on the King Salmon River, and I'm...
which is not far from here, the Egegik.
Nope. Yep, it's about, I don't know, maybe like 14 miles as the crow flies, or 16 or something.
Yeah.
I have this hunter, and we spot this big bull, and there's 3 cows with it. And we have to go hop in the boat and go upriver and go through the brush, and we finally find the lake it's at, and it's a 400-yard shot across the lake. And my hunter gets ready, and I think he's a very good shot. And he shoots, and the moose goes down. But it's still on all fours. It's still got its head up, but it's definitely been hit hard. Mm-hmm. And so we're going to walk around the lake to check it out when we get there, So we head around the lake, and we get almost to we're probably 80 yards away from the bull, and the cows come walking over towards us, all three of them. Small, medium, and large. And they have their ears back, and all their hair is up on their backs, and they are not letting us get any closer to the bull.
Huh.
Yeah, it's
And are those signs of aggression, I would assume?
Oh, definitely. They're definitely aggressive. So
now, females are as well.
Yes, and these are females.
Yeah.
So we're looking at these females, and we're like, oh my goodness. So we start shooting our guns to scare them. Mm-hmm. That's not doing anything. They're not doing anything. So we wait there for a while, and about 10 minutes go by or so, and all of a sudden, the middle-sized cow, she moves off on the other side of the bull, and she's feeding. And I'm thinking, okay, now we got something going on. So all of a sudden, the big cow, she moves off. And she moves off over by the middle-sized one. And she comes over to it, and she walks right up to its side. And all of a sudden, she leans down a little bit, and she pushes off with her front paws. And she stands up way up high on her back legs, and she cocks her front arms down. And as her body weight comes down, she punches the middle-sized cow in the ribs as hard as she can, and it throws it about 6 to 10 feet out of the way, all the way over the side, and it's trying to get its balance and stuff. Well, it gets its balance, and it realizes that it was in the wrong by leaving, protecting the bull. So it turns, and it comes and stands over by the little one again, and then the bigger one comes over and stands by it, and they continue to stand there, and we gave up and went home for the evening, and came back the next day to get the animal.
That is incredible. So it was literally passing judgment on the other one.
Oh, yes, it did. It had to have hurt.
Wow. Mm-hmm. That could have busted some ribs.
Oh.
How could it have not?
I'm gonna say it busted ribs for sure. Yeah, so then we got over the next morning, we came out with a 4-wheeler, and we came out with a raft, and we had to go across the lake with the raft, and then we got to the animal, and then we butchered it, and took it across, and took it out with the 4-wheeler.
Wow, so those, now, what is moose like to eat?
Moose is very, very tender to eat. Mm-hmm. There's not very much fat on it, it's very tender to eat. And there's a lot of it. There's about 600 pounds of meat or 700 pounds of meat.
So do you mix it in with some fats or greases?
No, but just eat it like that. Mm-hmm. Cook it on the barbecue.
Yeah,
burger with it.
I've heard good things about it. But now, it's of course very late, and George works very hard here at the lodge. Very high energy guy. I can see why. He's a bear guide, but works very hard here at the lodge, which has phenomenal fishing. That these bears, we saw one today. We saw a fox here at the lodge. Incredible wildlife, but where we dropped off our carcasses of our fish, because the salmon fishing here is so phenomenal that these bears can eat salmon. Now, do they have a berry diet before the salmon runs?
Yeah, one of their main things is moose calves.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, we were hunting with Mark, the other lodge owner, bear hunting this spring. And there was another couple friends, just kind of here having fun. And we're up on this ridge, and all of a sudden we see this bear. And it's a medium-sized bear, and it's about 1.5 miles away. And we're watching it, and all of a sudden it's got its nose down, and it's like almost running. And we look off to the left-hand side, and there's a cow moose over there. And it's running towards this cow moose. Well, we realize that it's got a calf there. And the cow moose is trying to keep the calf alive, and it's just a big fight, back and forth. And I remember seeing the bear jump up on the back of the cow and grab it and then slide off the back. Wow. Yeah, it was pretty exciting. The cow keep on running out the at the bear, and the bear keep on running at the cow, and it was back and forth and back and forth. And finally, you can tell that the bear has got the calf and is eating it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's when Mark decided that he wanted to kill the bear. Mm-hmm. So we go down on the bear, and it takes a while to get there, and the wind's changing directions, and we finally swing in, and we're at the bear to probably 125 yards or so, and we shoot the bear, and the cow is not very far away, and as soon as we shoot the bear, within seconds, the cow runs over to the bear and recognizes that the bear is dead. Mm-hmm. And I believe that she came right at us after that, running towards us. And I believe that she was thanking us for killing that bear.
Really? So she ran up to you, and then what?
Oh, she ran up to us, and everyone's trying to move off real fast. And I said, slow down. We got to stay as a group here, Mm-hmm. And she did not seem aggressive at all. Uh-huh, yeah. She was definitely thanking us for killing it.
That is incredible. So they seem to be a very intelligent animal.
Oh, they're pretty intelligent.
Yeah.
Definitely when it comes to survival.
Yeah. Wow. Well, what amazing species. Again, like I said, I could talk about this stuff for hours, but that is, we talk about the Becharof Lodge all the time, and of course it is ridiculously good for salmon fishing. There's no question, but the opportunity goes beyond just salmon fishing up here. So I believe, I'm sure if you get in contact with Becharof Lodge, you got your number on there and everything for bear hunts, or?
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. We actually run them through an outfitter.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah. Bruce Hollingstead.
Okay, perfect. Yeah. But is it right around this area?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. Man, Tundra. This place is gorgeous. The river is gorgeous. There was a fox right there up at the front steps. It's mind blowing. So, anyway, thank you so much, George, for being on the Salmon Trout Steelheader podcast. Everybody, if you don't mind, really helps us when you leave comments below, and we love to read them as well. So, thank you so much, and thank you, George.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.